Hey, Jim, have you ever wondered why lip balm is a super sneaky scam?
Not only have I wondered that, I think I wondered it very out loud in front of everyone, audaciously without any scientific backing of my own.
I think you absolutely did. And today we are going to dig into the science behind what is the story behind lip balm,
Okay.
aka chapsticks.
All right.
All right, you ready?
I'm very ready. I've been wondering about this for a long time, so let's do it.
Woo! Hey, I'm Melissa,
I'm Jam,
and I'm a chemist,
and I'm not.
and welcome to Chemistry for Your Life.
The podcast that helps you understand the chemistry of your everyday life.
Chapstick edition. Okay, what's that called where it's like the thing becomes so common that you use it instead of like the brand name, like Kleenex for tissues?
Yeah, I mean, people would say like synonymous, I guess.
I feel like there's a special word,
But I think you are right. There is a like literary device
yeah.
for this exact thing.
Well, when I say chapstick, most of the time I'm talking about like just a stick of chap.
Yeah,
just a
right.
stick of stuff you put on your lips, not specifically chapstick brand, but I will talk about chapstick brand at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But you did ask me, you basically wanted me to tell you why chapstick is a scam. You put in a request. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do remember this, yes.
Oh, wait, before we talk about that, I want to pause and say shout out to our brand new community member, Emily M.
Mm-hmm. Emily M., we are so glad you're part of our community.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it keeps the show going, and we would love for the show to keep going. And two, because we have a great community that we're happy to have you part of, that we get to interact with, and it's a great crew, and we are glad for you to join it.
And Jam will do things like share his film photos, and he's also recently posted a PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's true.
PowerPoint party.
Yeah, there's been an eclectic mixture of things I've been sharing in there that may or may not be things you are like glad are there.
And I'll promise to share things on there and then forget. I remember it at the worst times, like while I'm driving. So
yeah.
Well, we're really excited to have you. Welcome to the community. I love getting to know the people in our community. Like, oh, where are you from? What are you up to? And we saw that you weren't using US dollars, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Around these parts, we're like, anything that's different is like cool. We're like, whoa, it's a different currency. That's cooler than the dollar. The dollar's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But we still like your dollars, though.
Yeah. Totally.
And speaking of your dollars, I am sporting.
Oh, yes.
The really cute Chemistry Ghost logo. Now, you can't get this hat because this was a super sweet special gift to me from Jam, who got this hat special embroidered for me because I love the ghosty holding a Erlenmeyer Flask logo. But we will have that merch coming back out soon, and we're going to put it up in September so that you can have it ready for yourself in October for Halloween.
That's right. So when you go to chemforyourlife.com/store, you can go check out and see the resurrected again ghost merch, and he or she is on sweatshirts, t-shirts, tanks, various things, so you can represent chemistry and represent the season of spookiness at the same time.
Yeah, and Jam's love language is giving people hats with things on them.
That has become it. Yeah, I didn't know that was it until we were well into it.
And I felt really special when I got this hat. So, all right. I was so excited to talk about the episode that I forgot those two very important announcements that I wanted to make at the top. So thanks for bearing with me. Okay. Do you remember what you said when you asked me? I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't get to the right episode.
I probably would have said something like, instead of saying, is it a scam? I'd probably be like, why is chapstick a scam?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, word it in a way that's like assuming the result.
Yeah, that is exactly what you did.
Because this is a bit of a secret power of mine. And the reason why I believe chapstick to be a scam without any evidence. So just, at the beginning I said I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist. And so me having opinions that aren't fact, I have those, and I will try to say them, make sure to give the caveat that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But anecdotally, my own experience wise, I have never used chapstick, and I've never had chapped lips. And
what? You've never had chapped lips?
No.
It's crazy.
When people tell me what chapped lips feel like, I'm like, yes, I've never had that.
That is
like,
wild.
Like people, it seems like it's beyond just like them being dry. Everyone gets like dry skin and stuff. We talked about that a little bit, right?
No, sometimes it peels. You can peel it off.
Yeah. And like the pain and discomfort of it and the like compulsion, like, oh, I gotta put some chapstick on. Like I've never had that.
When you smile, it cracks.
Right. Yeah, never had that. So
wow.
That made me think, I don't think I'm superhuman because, hopefully I'd have other abilities beyond just no chapped lips.
No,
like
that's the one.
strength, speed, something like that. I don't have either of those. But maybe it's really the truth is that because I've never used it, my body figures it out. Was my like layperson's theory. And that's where my question was coming from.
Okay. Okay. Well, you said that, and I said some off the cuff thing about like, oh yeah, they put ingredients in it that can irritate your lips. And that was based on something I'd seen with a dermatologist, an interview with a dermatologist. And so I was like, oh, I have this somewhere in the back of my mind, but I did give the caveat that it was chemistry off the cuff. So that was in one of our Q&R Ask a Chemist episodes. And a lot of times I give the caveat for those that this is just what I think off the top of my head as a chemist. So I shared just some of that chemistry off the cuff. And someone I actually met, another chemist I met at a conference this summer, Elise, reached out and said that we mentioned Burt's Bees in an episode, that it has additives that will make your lips actually dry out. But I'm pretty sure that the original Burt's Bees is one of the few chapsticks without additives. Evidenced by the fact that I lived in a very dry climate, Colorado, and I have Burt's Bees chapsticks that have lasted years because I don't have to keep reapplying. And then she goes on to say Chapstick brand chapsticks are a different story. They're petroleum based, and as soon as I use them, I want to reapply. So I was like, well, now we got to do an episode. And that was forwarded to us. And actually, instead of going to our inbox, it ended up going to this show, our network.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And so I do want to say they will try to forward us stuff, but they don't always. But you can always reach out to us at chemforyourlife@gmail.com if you have questions, comments, concerns, or you can go on the website and submit it there. Yeah. I don't know how it ended up with Believe, our network that does our ads.
I think because depending on your podcast app, you can say, contact the show. And in the case of us having a network, it goes to them first.
Oh.
So not every app has that. But like to have a podcast, you have to have an email somewhere attached to your deal. And I think for probably to keep it from getting so spamified, it probably isn't our actual email.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think it's one of the Believe ones, but yeah. If you can believe it.
Well, thanks Believe for giving us dollars and this email, because our contact at Believe, I think, is he one of the founders? Cam sent the message and said, I'd love to know your thoughts because I'm also an avid Burt's Bees user. And I was like, here we go. The pressure's on. I got to really find out the truth. So let's talk about what chapped lips even are in the first place.
Okay.
The drying out of chapping of lips, so it's really just dry, very, very dry skin on your lips, is a more common problem than the rest of your skin drying out because of the structure of your lips. So that the layer of the skin there on your lips is different, which, that kind of makes sense because it's this red color.
Yeah.
It's called the vermilion of your lips.
Whoa.
I know.
It definitely looks and feels different than the rest of our skin. So that adds up.
So we can get more of that trans epidermal water loss.
Okay.
Which is, essentially water evaporates from the top of our skin. That can happen at a higher rate on our lips because it doesn't have as much of a protective layer. Okay. And so that's why our lips can get dry and then ultimately chapped, which is just like a form of... Oh, I didn't write the word down because I was like, I'll remember this, and then I don't. But it's like an irritation on your skin, similar to like a dermatitis, I think. Okay, so, and your lips can even crack, and it can be terrible. And it's essentially that natural barrier of the lips having damage to it. So the natural barrier of the skin of your lips having damage done to it. So just like moisturizing on our skin, it can be beneficial to our lips to stop that moisture loss. Okay. So the question is, how can we do that? How can chapsticks do that? And many of them use the same concepts. I forgot to say, this isn't the most traditional chemistry lesson. Okay. It's more like, here's how I dived into this. You know, here's some facts that I learned.
Yeah.
So many of them, they use the same tool as the other moisturizers. They'll have occlusive products that keep the moistures from escaping. And sometimes they'll have some things that draw the moisture up.
Okay.
And there is evidence backed by research that using an occlusive product, such as wax or petroleum jelly, on your lips will minimize water loss and result in positive impacts on lip appearance and repair.
Okay.
So damaged lips can be a problem. And if you can protect them from water loss using an occlusive, something, the more highly occlusive it is, the essentially higher results they got of like, okay, this is improved lip appearance and function of protection on the skin.
Okay.
And they used like an objective thing that imaged the surface of the lips. So it's not just like, oh, we think this girl's lips are cuter after using it. It was like scientific.
Right.
They actually used an instrument that looked at that.
Assuming that, but it's also good to have that verified.
Yeah.
They were just like, those are some lips right there.
Those are some better lips than before, for sure. And I'm not biased. So there is evidence for that. But what I mentioned before that I heard from the dermatologist, admittedly without evidence, does seem to be true.
Okay.
Many commonly sold lip products are not purely occlusives.
Got it.
So many will include, in addition to other moisturizers, like what we talked about in the lotion episode, they will also include fragrance, which of course makes it taste good, makes the user experience positive, and that therefore might make you lick your lips more.
Right.
And that could perpetuate the problem. But another problem with having fragrances is many fragrances are also irritants or allergens. And in our show notes, I've listed a link to the FDA list of common allergens in cosmetics. And I've included several safety data sheets, which is kind of like if you have a chemical that you're going to be working with in any setting. So like, they probably even have one for water when I say like chemical. It's like literally anything you're interacting with, especially I think it's in work settings. Now I can't remember for sure. But when we were in undergrad, we had to go look up these safety data sheets and identify what the potential hazards were of everything we were interacting with. So I even got some safety data sheets from some of the ingredients that were listed as irritants, and they are listed as irritants on there. Now, alcohol is listed as a poison on there, a neurotoxin, because it is. So you have to consider that, right?
Yeah.
Like things are irritants, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to irritate everyone. And
that there's no amount you're able to use.
Right.
It's like, I guess there's like a trade-off.
Right.
Or whatever.
Kind of the dose makes the poison.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So one common one that is known to be a skin irritant is like peppermint oil, but we eat peppermint oil, so it's not terrible. But it's also maybe not the best. So there's things like that fragrance has going on that can be a problem.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that often gets included, especially in what's like marketed as medicated lip care, is menthol or phenol. And menthol, it has a numbing effect, which provides sort of a temporary relief. I think we talked about that in our bonus episode that just came out recently. But it triggers receptors that, you know, you associate with being cool, and it can minimize our experience of pain. And then same thing with phenol. Phenol also has a numbing effect. If you've ever used chloroseptic throat spray, it's the active ingredient that numbs your throat is phenol.
Right.
So if you have that in your lip, whatever, it will give you some temporary, immediate relief. But those things can also irritate the skin. And so that's kind of like a double-edged sword, is it'll give you immediate relief, but it could cause more problems down the road.
Right.
So, and these things, like I said, there are skin irritants and there's allergens. So allergens are going to cause an allergic reaction, contact dermatitis sometimes, but they're only going to cause an allergic reaction in certain people, you know, it's not the whole population. And then irritants are classified as irritants because they can irritate the skin, but oftentimes you need them in higher concentrations, or some people are going to be more sensitive to them than others.
Yeah.
And if we're like straying away from some of the more common fragrances, I've talked about this before, but I know someone who worked for a company, and the way that they would test fragrances is they would like have the grad students who were interning or the postdocs, whoever, they would be like, come up here, get free breakfast and test these fragrance on your arms. And they would like put the fragrance on their arms, and then they'd come back later at the end of the day and see like, how did it affect you?
Yeah.
So, questionable for sure.
Yeah.
So those are two things that is commonly included in chapstick that can cause irritation or allergic reaction on the lips that could basically counteract the value of the occlusive that you would be putting on your lip.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to kind of consider that.
Mm-hmm.
And so reading the ingredients is really helpful. And I actually went to the American Academy of Dermatology Association website, and they talked about specific ingredients to avoid when you have chapped lips.
Okay.
So if you do have chapped lips, here are some things that they encourage you to avoid. Camphor, eucalyptus, any flavoring. So that includes cinnamon, citrus, mint, peppermint. Those can be especially irritating to dry and chapped lips, according to the AAD, American Academy of Dermatology. Fragrance, so flavoring or fragrance, lanolin, menthol, octinoxate or oxybenzone, which I think both of those are sunscreens, phenol, or propyl gallate or salicylic acid. So all those things can be irritating when you have chapped lips. So I was like, great, this is all good information. This is really interesting. Now let's get into the specifics of two hotly contested things are the Burt's Bees and the chapsticks. So Elise mentioned Burt's Bees original, and I've heard that the people who originally made Burt's Bees like way back before they sold,
Burt and everyone.
Burt and Ernie,
Yeah.
that they used like it was pretty much only beeswax. That it might have been a different breakdown of ingredients. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I did is I went to the Burt's Bees website and I found the ingredients list. And on the ingredients list for the original stick form of chapstick, all it said was beeswax. And so beeswax is a nonpolar substance. It's a mixture of substances, I guess, but it's the waxy substance is primarily nonpolar. It doesn't interact with water. You've seen it before. So that would be a good occlusive. That makes sense to me.
Got it.
However, unlike synthetic substances, which, are going to be maybe a little bit more controlled and pure.
Yes.
Beeswax can have it's a mixture of things, and it can have a lot of different standards of what's in it based on the region and the population of bees. But also, something else that bees like harvest, I'm not sure if they harvest it or if it's a mixture from what they harvest from plants, but it's called propolis or propolis. It's a mixture of resin from plants mixed with the bee saliva. And for many people, it's not a problem, but for some people, it is an allergen. So it's a known allergen, and it's a sensitivity that can develop over time if you've been exposed to it a lot.
Okay, I see.
So some people might actually be allergic to that ingredient in beeswax.
Right. Yeah, so it's like, it could say ingredients list is beeswax only, but it's like, oh, well, what's in beeswax?
Right.
And like there is more, and it could vary from person to person. It is not like a totally purified, synthesized, like pure wax, nothing else in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Even wax is like, one paper I saw classified wax as like something that's created from bees. So all wax and wax has a mixture of different substances in it, beeswax. But so I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not bad. And then I noticed that there is below where it said beeswax was a link that said see full ingredient list. And when I clicked on that, there is more stuff in it. So again, I don't know if this is the original. This is like what they call the original now, but it does include beeswax, But then also coconut oil, which I think is fine. Sunflower seed oil, that I also think is fine. Peppermint oil.
There we go.
Which is a question mark on the American Association of Dermatology list. Lanolin, which is also on that list. Then some other fine things. I like rosemary leaf extract wasn't specifically said to avoid on there, so that might be okay. But it could also potentially be an irritant depending on the amount, the concentration. There's canola oil, so soybean oil. Those oils I think are fine. I guess I'm not a dermatologist, but there's nothing red flagged about those. And then limonene, which is often a citrus smelling. And that is not on the American Association of Dermatology list, but it is on a common allergen list from the FDA that I mentioned earlier.
Got it. Okay.
And then in the tin that is supposed to be the same original flavor, there were a few additional things, including linalool and eugenol. And both of those are, so this is like the version that you stick your finger in rather than the chapstick. Both of those can be allergens. So they're on the list of common allergens used in cosmetics. So I think what maybe we're seeing from our common avid Burt's Bees users is maybe they don't have sensitivity to those things.
Right.
Maybe the peppermint doesn't irritate their skin as much, but it's possible that if you already have chapped lips and that is irritating your skin, then it might be actually making it worse, but you want to keep applying it because it's giving you maybe a temporary relief from that peppermint.
Right.
That can have a similar soothing effect as I think like sometimes like menthol.
Yeah. Interesting.
And when the interview with a dermatologist I saw is Dr. Shaw, he has a YouTube channel I've talked about before. They're pretty good about citing their sources. They didn't cite their source for this. So, take it with a grain of salt. But they were talking about when you put on lip balm with peppermint, it can have like a plumping effect, which I assume is if it's irritating your lips, it's causing an inflammation. And so it might make your lips look initially better, but it might ultimately be as a result of irritation, which later on will be worse.
Got it. So question mark on that specific point, but the fact that those ingredients you mentioned are either on the irritants list or the potential allergens list.
Yeah.
That's fact.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yeah. The American Association or the American Academy of Dermatology Association is such a mouthful. They go by AAD for short. They have that list and it's linked in our show notes of like, here's ingredients to avoid if you have chapped lips.
Got it. So I guess what we have to say to Burt and all of his friends is like, maybe mind that beeswax.
Well, and I think the problem is that I'm sure a lot of people who like it is if it's not irritating your skin and you're using it, beeswax is an occlusive. It is going to keep that moisture in. If it's not irritant, then maybe it is in a dry climate like Colorado. I was recently in Colorado and I did like almost immediately start to get chapped lips. That happens for me anytime I go to Colorado or Amarillo, where they're drier climates. So if you're in, a dry climate and it treats the problem by acting as an occlusive, I could see how you'd be like, well, that's, it doesn't make it worse for me, but it could be for people who are having reactions to this.
Got it. So at least it's clear in a case of like, she's not having to use the stick all the time. It's lasting a long time. It's like, okay, you can probably bet that these things aren't irritating you. Yes. So that's great.
Yeah. So it's great for you. And there are some people who do talk about how they feel addicted to chapstick. Yeah. Where they just have to put more and more on. And those people are very likely victims of, this is irritating my skin, but it's the only thing that makes it feel better. But then it's irritating it more, Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how do you gotta get your fix, It's like, how do you get off the stop riding the dragon or whatever they say?
Yeah. Well, and I do have a list of things they have on their website, a list of things that are good to pursue, ingredients to look for when you have chapped lips. And Burt's Bees, I want to say very clearly, has a lot of those ingredients too. So it's not like, oh, Burt's Bees is all a lie. It's like the majority of the things on that list were also on the look for these when you have chapped lips, but it's just that there's some of the things to avoid when you have chapped lips that were also on there.
Right.
So
makes sense.
And then the other thing I want to talk about is the idea that maybe Chapstick brand might be irritating because of the petroleum-based ingredients. And I couldn't find information about the petroleum-based ingredients. Well, I could, but not specifically about it being an irritant. So let me kind of summarize what I found about Chapstick.
Okay.
So I went to the Chapstick brand. I tried to find the unscented flavor.
Mm-hmm.
There were only 2. They were both medicated, and they had way more of the allergens and the common irritants.
Dang.
So in terms of if we're doing a competition between the Chapstick brand and the Burt's Bees brand, again, I do think that Burt's Bees has more in its corner.
Okay.
The 2 closest to unscented, but not really unscented things I could find both had menthol. They had all the irritating ingredients in them. So not all of them, but a lot of them. So I didn't even bother listing it out because I was like, this is not good. But I did link to their website, and they put their ingredients on there. You can go. Now, sometimes it's a little hidden. So I would go to the website of the company that you like their chapstick and look at the ingredients list there, because I think some of it's not completely included in the packaging.
Well, yeah, so I think it's like under certain amounts, wherever they're not required to put, or they can put like beeswax without having to say what all is
full ingredients list.
Yeah.
Yes, things like that. So, go check it out, because I found all this just by literally comparing the list from the American Dermatologist Association to the ingredients list. I just made sure to click that like full ingredients list.
Got it.
So Chapstick brand, 100%, it's a worse choice. And I could see why someone who, okay, they're using Burt Bees, it's not really negatively impacting their lips, they don't have to use it all the time. If they use that Chapstick brand, they'd want to reapply it. It could be likely it has menthol, or it has something in there that might be irritating it worse, and you feel like you need more. It seems like they're definitely the worst culprit for that.
Okay.
But the occlusive ingredient in Chapstick, it does seem as petroleum based, and I could not find evidence that causes irritation. It was the other ingredients in there I could 100% find that they caused irritation. But what I found that was really useful was a 2024 review of petroleum jelly. And petroleum jelly, and a review, I guess I should say for some of our listeners, is we're just going to go and look at if somebody says, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at all of the papers about this, and I'm going to try to like synthesize the big ideas that are going on in our field right now. So based on all this evidence, here's what I found. And they'll like include every paper that they cited. They're like big sort of like, let's bring it all together, analyzing all the papers that are here. So this review paper said that, petroleum jelly, it is a byproduct of petroleum oil, which not great. Petroleum oil, we've talked about. There's a lot of ethical comments, questions, concerns we have about petroleum industry as a whole. But white petroleum jelly, that not yellow, white specifically, is purified and is largely considered a non-allergen and a non-irritant. Okay. There have been a few cases to it, but it is considered rare in all of the papers that I saw. And the assumption in the majority of those papers was that it was likely not properly purified, because it is a petroleum-based product, and this is sort of in line with what Elise was maybe mentioning. If it's not completely purified, you could have some lingering things in like polyaromatic hydrocarbons, something we talked about on our plastic episode, I think. And those were suspected to be the actual cause of the irritation, not the petroleum jelly itself, but the lack of purification. Okay. So, that is something that you're like, okay, yeah. So that it's not considered an allergen. It's very rare, much less so than the beeswax, the propolis that I saw reported, but it is not impossible. Okay. But all of the papers that reported it said, this is extremely rare. But other than that, it is considered non-allergenic. Okay. And there's one area that was a cause of concern for safety, was using petroleum jelly in preterm neonates. So babies that are born before term. They reported initially that it could have improved, like stuff with the skin, but it can cause to potentially increased infection is something I saw. So that's like a population that maybe you want to be careful with using petroleum jelly with. Okay. But so based on all that, and then going back to the American Academy of Dermatology Association, it is endorsed by them as a product to use when you have chapped lips.
Okay.
So not chapstick. Chapstick's not endorsed by them, but specifically white petroleum jelly.
Got it. Just the pure, only that.
Basically Vaseline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that we, oh, my brain just stopped working halfway through that sentence. Sorry. That's white petroleum jelly is something that the American Association of Dermatologists approves. And I think that is the occlusive that's in chapstick.
Right.
But chapstick also has a lot of other things that are questionable and likely to irritate, but not the petroleum-based thing itself.
Okay.
Here are some lists of things that are recommended by the American Association of Dermatology for when you have chapped lips. So they had like, here's what you should avoid. And below that, they had, here's what you should include.
Okay.
Castor seed oil, which I'm pretty sure was one of the lists in the Burt's Bees. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. I think. So castor seed oil is one. Ceramides, which if you've heard of like CeraVe, they're basically the fats that our body naturally produces that kind of, they contribute to the brick and mortar structure of our skin. Ceramides are the specific fats. Dimethicone, hemp seed oil, mineral oil, petrolatum, shea butter, sun protective ingredients such as titanium oxide or zinc oxide, and white petroleum jelly. And then they say it helps to use products that are fragrance free and hypoallergenic. So like I said, some of those are in Burt's Bees. They have ingredients that have been noted by both of those places as good, the FDA and the American Academy of Dermatology, but also some questionable ones.
Okay.
So there's not a super chemistry lesson in there. That's just my chemist deep dive onto a topic.
Yeah.
Based on the moisturizer chemistry lesson that we did last week.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago.
That's interesting. It was like a investigative journalist kind of like dump. It's like, here's what I found out.
Yeah.
Kind of
so
thing.
just like, here's tons of information.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah.
I did all the Googling for you, but you know, at a not just Google level, but like we're going to find
I did
evidence.
all the researching. Yeah.
Yes. And so what I personally do when I have chapped lips is I do use some unscented moisturizer and I put that on my lips. I try to stay hydrated because I'm usually in Amarillo or mountain towns. And that's, you know, that's where it happens to me.
Right.
I put some moisturizer on. I try to stay hydrated so that if the moisturizer is pulling the water from deeper in my skin, we can replace it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I, after I put the moisturizer on, I will put petroleum jelly, just like a layer of Vaseline over top of it. And that is the most effective thing I found for chapped lips. And in the review, I saw there was this dermatologist went through the ingredients list of a bunch of different lip products, lip repair products. And, you know, they ranked them like, this is on my bottom tier, mid tier, top tier, and best tier. And the only thing on the best tier was just petroleum jelly. So
interesting.
It was Vaseline's lip balm, but they were like, no, there's a little bit of dye in this and you don't need that. So you could just get Vaseline in a tub.
Yeah.
So that is dermatologist endorsed. And I'll link to that video as well. Part of me is like, well, it's just a guy on YouTube who's a dermatologist or two guys on YouTube who are dermatologists, but I'm also just a girl on YouTube who's a chemist. So, and I went and checked their facts. So I feel confident in the research that I did.
Totally. Dang, cool. Interesting.
Yeah. Do you want to summarize your takeaway? Since we don't have like a specific chemistry lesson you did your chemistry lesson last time.
Yeah. So basically it comes down to really like they are ingredients that seem to be totally okay, that actually help with the problem that we're having when we have dry skin, dry lips. And the issue is that those can be undercut. The trade-off is there when there's other things mixed in that are allergens or irritants. And just a simple kind of like knowing those resources, like obviously can't repeat all of them back to you, but like knowing all the, having the links in our show notes that show what are the ingredients to avoid will help us get the benefits of some of these products that actually are there. Yeah. There really is some things we can do with our chapped lips and some beeswax, where you aren't sensitive to the kind of other things that are in it, could work great. It's actually a good occlusive.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much straight up petroleum jelly that doesn't have a bunch of other junk added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably also great. It's a very good occlusive. And then mileage will vary based on which things we're all sensitive to. But it'd probably be good to avoid things that are known irritants, known allergens.
Yeah.
Especially if you're someone who's using something and continually needing to reapply.
Yes.
Probably good to like
Yeah.
change course and try something else, because that's probably what's happening.
Yes.
That's like my like download and the pedestrian like bit of info I can keep in my brain.
Yeah.
That I could easily tell my friend or mother-in-law or whoever.
Yeah.
Without having to remember the actual ingredients.
List.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of
good.
those are memorable. A couple of
Yeah.
the ingredients are, but there's so many that I'm like, I might get that mixed up and get it wrong.
Yeah.
And then some of the ones you said that are fine, I might be like, wait, was that a good one or a bad one?
Yeah. I'm like lanolin, limonene, and lanolin, limonene, and linalool all sound so similar, but they're
Yeah.
different, you know, and some one's an irritant and
Yeah.
the other one's an allergen or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a good summary. And I wish I was realizing as you were talking that we didn't say at the top that this was really a follow-up to moisturizer. Did we say that? It really.
Yeah, I think kind of. But we just have made it more clear too, like the mechanism of like why this even works, why occlusives even are helpful. Which you did just recap too when you talked about what you do.
Yeah.
We did talk in detail about last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry for not. If this is your first episode and you're like, why do they keep using this word occlusive? We talked about that in the last episode. So hopefully,
you're like, I thought this was everyday life. Didn't think it was like, I'm not reading the dictionary every day. Come on.
Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes I just pick up where we left off in the conversation and I forget that someone might be like, this is my first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, I was thinking, but this won't work. I was going to say, what's your least favorite brand of lip balm? But
I mean, all of them.
Yeah,
honestly,
I know
like
you're gonna say that.
Yeah, I hate how, so I don't have to ever apply it, but in the event that my wife has had to put some on and I give her a kiss and I'm like, I'm just like,
just kidding.
I'm just sort of like, I am like, ooh, you know, I'm like, what is this stuff? I'm like, it just feels so weird to me.
Yeah.
So like you could argue that technically I have, chapstick has been placed upon my lips, but I've never applied it
against your will.
And if I know that she just put on lip chapstick or any sort of balm or whatever, she also usually tells me like, hey, you probably don't want to because you'll complain about it and blah, blah. Yeah. So I don't have a favorite. I don't even know what my wife's favorite is. That'd be the one I would have interacted with the most.
Yeah.
Oh, I think she likes, for a while, she liked those little kind of spherical ones.
Eggs, those EOS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But I have no idea what she uses now.
I did have a friend who's like, oh, I love this lip product. It's like if I have chapped lips, I put it on and they're gone. And me and Mason used it. And the next day he and I were both like, it feels like our lips are peeling. And I was like, oh, maybe this, like in hindsight, I was like, oh, I bet this had an irritant in it that like upset my lips or something. So yeah, I had a similar, I was like, man, well, okay. So maybe not. What's your most often used cosmetic product? I will say before you answer that, I did get you a little. You are a little wrong because it's not like fully a scam.
Right. You did totally get me.
And people do get chapped lips and it's a real thing.
Yeah. So it's not, so what you're saying is this, the chapped lips themselves are not caused by the chapstick. In every case.
They can be exacerbated by it.
Yeah.
But you're probably just really hydrated or have stronger lip skin than other people or something.
Right. Yeah. Who knows what that causes, but yeah. I'm at least, I've made myself immune to a situation where my lips are getting irritated by the thing I'm putting on them.
Yeah.
So I'm not in that camp. That's for sure. What's my most used cosmetic product? That's a good question.
Yeah, like lotion, sunscreen.
Don't I use lotion? I do have that like daily apply sunscreen stuff.
Oh, good. You put on sunscreen every day?
I have it, and I remember to put it on sometimes.
Hey, that's better than none. And is that because of the podcast?
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, but I just hate how that stuff feels. Like, sunscreen I do because it's necessary, and those are the times that I do it most. Is like when I'm at our pool or
Yeah.
outside all day or out on a trip or something like that.
In the cars, like a big time.
But the episode we did about it and the strong recommendation of wearing it all the time was like, okay, I just need to find one I can wear that's like just not going to feel so coating my skin and so annoying to me. But because I'm someone who doesn't use chapstick, doesn't use a lot of like hand lotions or whatever other lotions.
Yeah.
It makes me hyper annoyed by any amount of those things.
Yeah.
So just like having to put anything on, it's just, I feel like this doesn't feel like my skin. It feels like I'm coated in something.
You are.
And I'm not in like there's chemicals on me. It's not that. It's just more like
texture.
Yeah, it's just a texture thing. It just feels different. I feel just like, it feels like kind of being like a human environment where just like everything feels wetter, feels grosser, you know?
A humid environment. I thought you said a human environment. I was like, what do you mean?
It's like just those times where you're like in a human environment.
Yeah, I was like, isn't that always? We're humans.
Oh yeah, right. We're both human. Definitely. Both of us are for sure humans.
Which one of us do you think he thinks is not human? Him or me?
But yeah, that's probably it, honestly.
Okay.
Oh, wait, what did you say? Oh, I do wear some hair stuff. That counts,
okay,
right?
yeah. What hair stuff do you like? Yes.
I use, speaking of something that could be an irritant, I guess, but I use the Paul Mitchell tea tree stuff.
Okay.
Partly because I've just had it for a long time and it just doesn't go away quickly. It's just like pomade-y kind of stuff. And they have this thickening spray. So I wear that pretty much every day in my hair, but I have to be very like, I can't use a lot of any of that stuff because my hair is so like fine and whatever. So any amount too much is like, it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
But I'm always wearing something in my hair, just FYI. You know, I'm like everybody else.
I actually don't wear stuff in my hair.
There you go. So we're just flip-flopped. It's like, you're better about the moisturizers and stuff as a world you've been in. Yeah. But you're not in the hair world in the same way.
Yeah. And I think part of it is when I don't get my hair cut enough and I'll get the damaged ends and then they'll kind of like knot up at the bottom. And so hair that's fallen out will then get knotted in at the bottom and not actually leave. And if I use product, it gets worse. And so a lot of times I will use product after I get my hair cut, but then I don't get my hair cut for a year. And right now I can like find knots in my hair.
I do feel like it'd be so cool not to have to get haircuts that often. That's something I don't love.
Yeah, but I can tell, I can feel it. And then I'm just like, I'm so busy. I think it's been a year since the last time I got a haircut. And hairdressers come tell me why that's bad. Teach me about your expertise, please.
There you go. I've been proud of myself because I haven't had to get a haircut since June. Wow. But like, obviously when I was growing my hair longer, that was like, that's easier. That's the whole point, right? Yeah. But when you're trying to have like a short hairstyle and have it not get all weird and annoying and stuff, it's very hard. Yeah. So it's just like hard to win as a dude sometimes where you're like, I don't want to look like a scraggle, but I also want to save money. Yeah. Not get a haircut all the time. Yeah. So I got one in June and I've been trying to be like, can I make it? First I was like, can I make it in September? And I did. I was like, can I make it to October? So I'll just see if I can get like a short enough haircut in October to last me till like January or something. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I feel like I like the length of your hair in your wedding pics. Is it, how long is it in your wedding pics? Is it actually, maybe it's longer than I'm thinking. I like your hair when it's long, but not like flowing yet. Yeah. Yeah. There, it's kind of hard to describe. Like if I pulled down the front, it would probably come to like here. I think that might be. But it was like when it's parted, you know, it's very out of my face and stuff. But it kind of was a little bit enough to kind of go behind my ear on either side, but it doesn't look, you wouldn't really call it long. Yeah. You know? I think that's the length that I typically, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good style. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, now we've just gone on a tangent. I was trying to do categories, but Jim just you know, he's he likes to be anti things, including chapstick. Contrarian. Sorry, guys. That's the word, contrarian. Well, thanks for teaching us about that. Yes. Thank you for asking about it. That was a fun little, fun journey to go down for me. And thanks for investigating and for Elise's question about this, and for Cam forwarding it to us and all the people in the process of getting that question to happen and make this episode, because your questions, your thoughts, your ideas are very important to us. They are the fuel for these episodes. and we love receiving those from y'all. So if you have a thought, question, idea, comment, follow up to this, whatever it is, please reach out to us. Let us know at chemforyourlife.com. That's chemforyourlife.com to share your thoughts and ideas with us. If you'd like to help us keep our show going and contribute to cover the cost of making it, you can join our super cool Chem community of patrons, just like Emily M. did.
Mm-hmm.
You get an ad-free feed of the show. You get some behind-the-scenes stuff. You get
Sometimes you get a coffee hour.
Sometimes you get a coffee hour with us. I was like, there's something else I was thinking that
Thank you notes sometimes.
Thank you notes sometimes. You get to talk with the other patrons too on there, commenting on stuff like that.
Sometimes we'll just surprise send a Christmas card.
That's right. We have done that. But most importantly, you get to keep the show going, keep it free for everybody else, and it just means the world to us.
Yeah,
so we're grateful for that, and we like to say thank you in the ways that we can through our Patreon. So if you want to join that community, you can do that at patreon.com/chemforyourlife. That's patreon.com/chemforyourlife. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Not just the after feed of the show, you get the bonus episode just for them.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I was like, there's something like big that we do just for them that I'm missing for some reason. Sorry. Spaced on that. Another way you can support the show and keep it going is by buying merch that we do. And this is like a good, one-time kind of thing you can do. We've got these seasonal things like the Spooky Ghost holding an Erlenmeyer flask. And a lot of our stuff is also just very chemistry related instead of something specific to our podcast. So if you are just a chemist or a chemistry head or a chemistry teacher or whatever, it can work in all kinds of contexts. But it supports the show. It gives us a little boost and helps us keep going. Keeps the show free for everybody. So there's a lot of ways you can support the show and keep it going. And one of the freest, chillest, easiest ways is to subscribe in your favorite podcast app, rate, write a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, throw a comment over there, let us know that you're watching. Those things help people to find the show and help people have the chemistry of their everyday life explained to them also.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Jim said, our community members are so important to us. And, when I'm thinking of like, oh, are we making a difference? Are we impacting people? I'm always reminded that there are people who are so excited about the work that they even want to financially partner with us. And that really makes me encouraged to keep going and know that this is a really worthwhile endeavor. So you guys really make a difference to me and make a big encouragement for me in this whole podcast thing that we do. So I'd like to give a special shout out by name to every one of you. That's Emily M., Kyle M., our newest H bonder, Emily H., Ash, Vince, Julie, Heather, Autoclave, Chelsea, Doreen, Hydrogen Bridges, Scott, Jesse, Sierra, John, Jeanette, Cullen, Erica. Is Carol still active? Sometimes this happens. Maybe not. Sometimes it sorts into people who are active and who are not. I'm sorry. Sorry for our mistake here. It's really just mine. Erica, Elizabeth, Rachel, Latila, Katrina, Suzanne, Venus, Lynn, Jacob, Brian, Christina, Timothy, Stephen, bless you, Chris, Chelsea, Abishai, and Hunter. Thank you all for everything you do to make this podcast happen. And we just appreciate you so, so much. And if you want to learn more about today's episode or check out some of our resources, you can find those on our website or in our show notes.
Yay, chemistry.
Yay, chemistry. Yay, Vaseline.